Caution, Breathe, Iris, Light, Mind, Flash, Jaedong, easy play, anytime, stop, nada, much, Slayer's Boxer, C, Bisu, Savior, 16 of the most powerful StarCraft gamers in the world, LG, Intel Centrino, GOM TV, Star Invitational.
변형태, 김태교, 연보석, 송병구.
Greetings from Seoul, Korea. This is Nick Tasel's plot at the GOM TV StarCraft Invitational. The tournament has turned out to be massively successful, and today we are in the quarterfinals. 8 players remain. 8 of the best players in the world. StarCraft, one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult game ever created. Our first game is going to be Flash versus Jaedong. A very exciting matchup. The map order, and it will be the same map order for all of the games, is going to be Blue Storm, Katrina, and finally, if it goes to a third game, Bekma Goji. So a best of 3 to start off. 2 interesting players, Jaedong and Flash. I believe they have an even record historically with an overall tie of 4-4. Jaedong and Flash met each other only yesterday, I believe, in one of the Star League groups where Flash managed to triumph over Jaedong and get his revenge. So Jaedong has another opportunity now to come back and try to beat Flash. Could turn out to be a really exciting match. Flash has recently been attempting to diversify his style a little bit more, especially in the early game. He was particularly known for his orthodox strategies. In February 14th, he failed to advance to the semifinals of the MSL by losing against Jaedong. And again, on February 22nd, he advances to the second Star League semifinal by revenging his loss against Jaedong. Jaedong, on the other hand, he shows very good performance against all 3 of the races. He's a well-rounded player. He's currently the best player in terms of performance and momentum. He shows a high skill in all aspects of the game. I mean, he's got very high APM, incredible multitasking. On top of that, he just has really strong in-game judgment and macro management. So because of that, we have, well, let's just be frank here. We have 2 very well-rounded players. They've had a very even history before. This game could go either way. I'm putting my money on Jaedong, but honestly, if there was a player who could defeat Jaedong, if there was a player who could take Jaedong out, this would be the one. Flash, the person who went 3-0 in his group, walked over his opponents with ease, including Anytime, who is also going to be in Game 2 coming up here. One note, and I will be saying this in all of the cast, is that if Anytime manages to win in his group, which will be in the game after this, in his round, we will be moving the beginning times of the games on Wednesday to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, rather than 6 o'clock, because Anytime has another tournament he has to be going to. Oh, and who is the jerk with the purple shirt on right now? That must be me. Yeah, this is the only stuff they have in the wardrobe that fits me. I do not normally dress like a tool, I promise you, but this is going to be the exception to the rule today. Where was I? So Jaedong, just an incredibly strong player. I still think he's the favorite to win this tournament, but it's going to be an uphill battle, that's for sure. We're just sitting here waiting for the players to be released. And here comes our first one right now. It is none other than Flash, the man who 3-0'd his entire group He has a lot of fans here today. And he will be entering his booth now, making sure his mouse settings, his keyboard settings, even his brightness settings are exactly where they need to be. And here comes our next opponent. You've all heard of him. The most powerful Zerg in the world. Jaedong. He managed to go 2-1 in his group. Although a lot of people say that he actually threw his game against his teammate anytime, so they wouldn't be meeting in the bracket phases. He is a monster. I mean, just an incredibly strong player. And now he will be entering his booth to do just what Flash is doing, to make sure that his settings are on right, make sure everything feels just like it is when he's back playing with his other pro team players back in the pro house. The first map is going to be Blue Storm. Now, we have seen many players that are Zerg go for early Mutalisk on that map, so it's a high possibility. But now we're going to get a look at some of Flash's stats. It looks like he's 7th in Kespa right now, making him, I believe, the 2nd highest ranked Terran. That's off the top of my head. They don't give me those stats today. But I believe he's the 2nd highest ranked Terran in Korea. He, I don't know what else to say. He's just really proven to be quite a prodigy. A young player, too. But apparently that's proven to be no problem for him, as he's just shown up and managed to dominate so many of the old school players that we've seen today. Taking a look in the other booth, here we see Jaedong. He is just an incredible Zerg player. Savior was #1 for a while in the whole Zerg realm, and Jaedong has slowly crept up there. Now ranked 3rd in Kespa, with only 2 Protoxes in front of him. He is the most powerful Zerg alive. An absolute monster. Again, he is also proven to be very strong on the map Blue Storm. So I'm really excited to see what these two players are going to be doing against each other. Jaedong's record right now, or listening to the last 10 games records versus each of the races, he's been 6-4 against Terran. As we look at Flash against Zerg, he's also been 6-4. So it really doesn't get more even than this. 2 powerhouse players meeting here today. I'm interested in seeing if Jaedong is going to be able to get his revenge from yesterday. He lost 1-2 to Flash in some very exciting games. If you can never go check out the VODs, they're probably up on YouTube already. Definitely go do that. A lot of people down here at the GOM TV StarCraft Invitational. It was packed outside. I believe it still is packed outside. Every time I've been down here, this whole event, the whole studio fills up so quickly that people are always left waiting, out for long periods of time. They have to wait until somebody leaves the seats before they can even let somebody else in. I mean, people are showing up here hours in advance just so they can get a good seat. Each one making their little banner or little sign or whatever it is so that they can show their support to the gamers. Koreans are really well known for being very passionate at sport events and really big on making those signs. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those already. At StarCraft matches, they're very good at hiding their faces as well. They burrow quickly. We're still waiting here for the players to start. I take my cue from when the Korean players stop talking, so I just keep rambling until something happens. Our next match is going to be Anytime versus Much. The match after that is going to be Berserker, also known as Iris, versus Bisu. And then Game 4 will finally be Stork versus C. So Jaedong is actually the only Zerg in this group left. So if Jaedong loses this, it's going to be nothing but Terrans and Protosses left. Although, note that there are only 3 Zergs actually invited to the tournament. I understand they'll probably be inviting more sometime in the future, whenever they do this event again. But yeah, it's going to be Jaedong representing the entire Zerg race. With Flash, on the other hand, we still have 3 other Terrans in the tournament. Iris, also known as Berserker, and C. Iris just recently changing his name to Berserker because he was nicknamed in Korea the Berserker Terran, and decided it would be appropriate to make that switch over. When is this game going to start? The map listing, again, is going to be Blue Storm, Katrina, and Bekmagoji. Now, we saw an incredible game by Flash earlier against Savior on this map, where Savior, it just looked like he was completely owning Flash, took out Flash's only expansion, was closing in on him with Guardians and Zerglings with the Adrenal upgrade, managed to use... Oh, hold that thought. Thank God that game finally started. As I was saying before, Flash has showed an incredible game against Savior, where Savior was winning up until, the last few minutes, and Flash managed to come back. So I think Jaedong's got a tough fight up ahead. Now there's Jaedong. He's at the bottom left. Flash is at the top right. This is a one-on-one map. So we do have to ask ourselves, like we do on every one-on-one map, will somebody open up with a bit more of a risky build, perhaps a rush build? Since those do prove to be so effective on one-on-one maps, you don't have to worry about the location of your opponent and whether or not your build is going to be as effective. So again, in moments we will see exactly how this game will unfold. Both players having very, very, very even records statistically and against each other. Two Titans facing each other now. One will be on top, not only in this tournament, but all-time record-wise. And again, it looks like an interesting rush strategy has already started with Flash building his barracks before the supply depot, knowing it's a one-on-one map and he can get away with something like that. If Jaedong hatches on 12, we could see this game end in seconds. Double barracks before supply depot, even more aggressive, even more risky. Now, I'm curious if he made those barracks too close to be in range of the Overlord vision. If he does that, it could be all for nothing. Now, here comes the Overlord now. Is the Overlord actually out of range of that? I believe it is. I believe Flash has timed this out so well that it's barely out of vision. But if Jaedong spotted it, and there's no way Jaedong spotted it because Jaedong went hatchery first, Jaedong has no idea the sack of bricks that's about to hit him. But it looks like the building SCV randomly moved into the vision path of the Overlord, forcing Jaedong to immediately cancel that hatchery, transition over to a spawning pool. Jaedong should have positioned his buildings up just a little bit higher. Wow, he's fast. Now again, taking a look at Jaedong's vision, here we can see that he does on the minimap have a red blip up at the top left, so he does have that expansion up. Now the question is, how many SCVs is Flash going to send, and will that be enough to win this game? And here he comes now, closing in. He's going to use these drones to try to prevent them from making a bunker, but there may be too much. This may be game right now for Jaedong. He's going to need these Zerglings to come out in time, but SCVs and Marines are going to put up an excellent fight. The larva at the spawning hatchery will not be of any use right now. They will not be out in time to help defend this. Here comes another hatchery. And here comes Flash attacking the spawning pool. The building which will allow his opponent to make Zerglings. He's going to try to close in now, but there may be too many Marines if he can micro it correctly, and he has. The rush has proven to be effective, and the spawning pool will soon go down for Jaedong. And the pool is out! And now I believe it is only moments before Jaedong will have to leave. He will have to do everything he possibly can to micro correctly, but only drones. Not enough for what Flash has. And this is going to be a victory for Flash. GG. Wow, that was pretty short. Jaedong looking pretty pissed at what just happened. Even after he detected the double proxy barracks into SCV rush. Managed to not hold that off anyways. Probably should have made his second hatchery in his main rather than at the expansion and maybe put up at least one creep colony there to defend it. But hey, these are the best in the world. I guess he thought it was a necessary risk to take to win in the long run. We got game 2 coming up very soon. That will be on Katrina, a map we have seen Flash do very well on. Looking at their records. Oh, I guess they didn't give me that piece of paper. I don't have their records on Katrina. What I do know is that I think we have less of a likelihood of seeing some type of aggressive rush early on a map like this. Because it's a 4-player map, and the expansion that would be most logical for you to take is in the back of your base rather than in the front. Terrans do rushes like that because Zergs generally make their first hatchery at the expansion, and because they can't build sunken colonies there, or creep colonies to morph into sunken colonies, they're a lot more vulnerable. The second game will start soon. I can see that both players have joined the game. We are now waiting for the Korean commentators to get them set up. Flash taking a drink of water, probably very relieved that he has an early advantage now. Jaedong probably very frustrated that he lost the game that quickly. He probably had an entire build all the way out to endgame mapped out in his brain. He will not get to use that now. That's really mentally debilitating when that happens. And there is a carrot with curly hair. He is cheering for, I don't know who, but hey, who isn't cheering for these guys right now? These are the best in the world. Top StarCraft players. This is the GOM TV StarCraft Invitational. In moments, Game 2 of Jaedong versus Flash will begin. 2 powerhouse players, and it looks like Flash is proving that Jaedong might not get his revenge from yesterday's loss in the Star League. Now, I'm interested in seeing how Flash will open here. Flash is, it's more likely that Flash would do a fast command center build, like command center first on a map like this, since it could give him an earlier advantage if Jaedong attempts to play macro style. Not to mention the fact that he already has that 1-0 advantage. He may take another risk, but in the opposite direction rather than aggressive in a more defensive economic pattern. So all the pressure is on Jaedong now. The person that I actually voted to be most likely to win this tournament